Name That Tune. Remember that show back in the day? Name That Tune. I think it came back more recently. They tried it. I don't know. I didn't watch the more recent one, but I remember it was always so amazing, right? They'd play a couple of notes, and then they'd kind of debate with each other, like, "Oh, I can name that tune in 5 notes. I can name that in 4 notes. I can name that." And, sometimes they'd just play like a note, and somebody would guess the tune, and you'd be like, "How do they do that?" Because our wiring is that way. Sometimes you just hear a couple of notes, and instantly you know what that song is. And what I want us to do is to recognize in us, what is that tune that continues to play in your mind? And if you're like me, you'll have lots of different tunes as you become aware of them. Maybe some are more dominant than others. But we need to listen in. We need to dial in. What is that tune? How do I name that tune? 2 Corinthians 10:5 says this: "We demolish arguments and every pretension that sets itself up against the knowledge of God, and we take captive every thought to make it obedient to Christ." Taking captive every thought. Sometimes we're so passive in our thoughts, they just let them go wherever they want and think about whatever, and good and bad and ugly and different, negative. It's take captive. If it's not from God, if it's not from the knowledge of Him, if it's not what He has for us, how do you take that captive? You begin by identifying it. Name that tune. What is that tune? Take it captive. Write it down. It's something when you start seeing 14, 15, 16, 20 different soundtracks that you have running in your mind. All of a sudden, you're more aware when those come up. Literally, write them down. I want this. You have an assignment. Every one of you has homework today. You have homework today. Write down, what are those tracks? Begin to listen. I'm not joking. Write them down somewhere. It's important that we identify, that we take them captive, and we say, I want to make them obedient to Christ. If you're wondering what some of those negative and broken soundtracks are, they usually have words like never, always, everyone, no one. These general statements that we kind of go, is that really true, right? We say things like, nothing ever works out for me. I always screw things up. That will never work. Everyone is out to get me. No one ever listens to my ideas. And those are the things that we say. So what are your soundtracks? Now, John gives 3 good lenses for us to determine if these soundtracks, some questions we should ask of our soundtracks. So as we think about retiring them, identifying, here are 3 things you can ask. And the first is it true? After you see them, you write them down. Is it true? Now, this one can be a little deceptive because many of our soundtracks are rooted in some kind of experience, something that someone said, something that we did, and maybe there's some truth to it. Maybe you did mess up. Maybe you did screw up. Maybe you were a failure. Maybe you have struggled with relationships. But is it true for now and always? Is it true going forward? We have to ask ourselves that question. Is it true? Is it helpful? That's a good one, isn't it? Is it helpful? Is repeating these things and saying these things to yourself, does that help you as you go into a new situation? Does that help you when you go into work? Does it help you every time you take a test to say, you know what, I'm just no good at taking tests? Does that help you? Is it helpful? And then another one to ask, is it kind? Are you being kind to yourself? Isn't it amazing how hard we can be on ourselves? We can be harsh. We can be hard, but we take it. And we put up with it. And if you're not sure if you're being, if it's being kind, ask yourself, how would a friend respond to that if you were to ask your friend say that to your friend over and over again, the thing that you're thinking? If you were continuing to tell that to your friend, you keep saying that to them every time they're in a situation, how would they feel? They'd probably break up the friendship, being like, no, that's just rude. That's not kind. Is it true? Is it helpful? Is it kind? And so we start identifying. We name that tune and we say, all right, these are the soundtracks. So what we do, once we have them, now we need to retire them. We need to say, I can't keep listening to those. I'm not going to keep having those. We take those thoughts captive. Then we need to replace. And what we need to do is we need to write a new track. Write a new track. Start telling yourself something else. Start listening to a different track. What is that? It says, let God do this for you, right? So Philippians 4:8 says, and now, dear brothers and sisters, one final thing. Fix your thoughts on what is true and honorable and right and pure and lovely and admirable. Think about things that are excellent and worthy of praise. Fix your thoughts. Think about these things. Where are your thoughts? What are you thinking about? What is it that you're telling yourself? What's it rooted in? Is it grounded? Is it in truth? The Bible says that the devil is the father of all lies. Where do these things come from that you're allowing your life to be derailed by? Say, God, no, I need a new truth. I need to hear from you what is true and honorable.